Hi, thanks for clicking that video. This is a garden tour after the big frost. I've been here in South Texas for almost 4 years now, and this is the first year that we've had a significant frost in the 4 years I've been here, and the garden suffered from it. Everything suffered from it. It's been in the news. I'm sure you've seen it. But I wanted to go through the garden because I was getting ready to pull the fall plants out anyway and replant, and I've done some replanting already, so I'll take you through what we've got here. These are my Bok Choy. These were coming out anyway. Typically what I do is I just twist them off. These will get broken up and into the compost bin. Let me pull these out. A little bit soil on there and just kick it off, but I just twist them to break it, leave the roots right in the bed, and you can already see there how much we've pulled this off. We eat a lot of bok choy in my family. We love it. The rutabaga was frozen pretty solid for 3 days, so we'll pull them out now, and we'll see how they taste at the dinner table. Let's twist them out. What I'll do is I'll break off the vegetable, put it in my hod. The rest of this greens, these will go in the compost bin. And I just twist it out, break it off, and the rest of this will go in the compost bin. These were pretty small anyway. They didn't do so well here in this corner. And I'll have to remember that for next year. Break these off. Earlier in the season, I had some pest issues with these. I tried a bunch of different things. What seemed to work was actually Tabasco sauce on the tops. Prevented, I think it was a possum, from deciding it liked to eat my rutabaga. No matter what I did with the kohlrabi, it ate it. So I didn't get a good kohlrabi harvest this year, which is unfortunate because that's a great vegetable. But live and learn with your vegetable garden. Next year I'll cover them with a wire mesh of some kind to keep the critters off. Typically what I do, preparing for my next planting, I'll pull out what I can from the bed. Anything loose. And all of this will go in my compost bin. The rutabagas, I will be able to wash these off and do some roasted rutabaga tonight or tomorrow night, and save some for this week's dinners. All right. The next step with this bed is I have some sifted compost, and if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link down below for that. I'll cover these beds with 1 to 2 inches of sifted compost, and then my plant starts that I already have ready for the spring planting will go in here. So this bed I'll be putting in tomatoes. I've got peppers. I've got some zucchini and some squash that I believe are planned for this bed. Let's move to the next bed. In between my 4x4 beds, 2 years ago, I put in some, these beds are made from 2x12, so 11 and a quarter inches tall. I put in some 2x6 beds directly on the earth here in South Texas, and I just filled them in with a mix of store-bought compost and my homemade compost, and nothing else. No peat moss, no vermiculite, no perlite, nothing, just a no-dig bed. And I have to say that the results have been, with this bed, fantastic. I made some mistakes, I think, with a couple other of the no-dig beds that I've done, and we'll talk about those, but my onions are fine. No problem with the onions with the freeze, so I'll let these continue to grow. In between, I have 2 water containers here along the line of my garden beds, and these are very useful. I don't have to drag the hose out every day. There's water available out here for me to water the plants, and I fill these up maybe twice a week in the summertime. But it works great. Drag the hose out 2 times a week, fill these up, and I have water when I'm out here looking at my plants, and if they need water, I have it readily available for them. Let's go ahead and move to the next bed. This 4x4 bed I'd already cleared out, and unfortunately with the freeze, I seriously damaged my tomato plants, and not because I didn't bring them inside, which was really the shame. I did bring them inside. I had them in containers, and I brought them in the house, and as life happens, I got busy with something else, had a phone call, a meeting with work on a Sunday night or a Monday night or something, and I forgot about them. They were on the kitchen table, and when I came home the next day from work, they were all drooped over. They were, well, you can see what condition they're in. Not very good. Fortunately, there is already new growth coming out of them, so let's keep an eye on them and see if we can save them. Here in South Texas, there is really no other option. You can't go to a big box store right now here after this deep freeze and buy any cuttings. Check with some people, some friends this week to see if anybody has some that they did bring inside and protect correctly, because tomatoes are a big part of my garden in the springtime, so it would be a big miss in my garden if I didn't have them. So hopefully these will recover. We'll see. We'll keep everybody updated, and if they don't, live and learn. Sometimes failures are the best way for us to never make mistakes again, and I can promise you that this is one mistake that I would never make again. This bed beside me is also a no-dig bed. I have onions and spinach in it. I'm going to leave this one because I'm still cutting this spinach out, and we're still eating it in the family. I have another bed further down with some spinach that is ready to come out. It's overgrown, so this I'll leave alone. This bed, I had leaks, and I had planted some snap peas in January. I was hoping to get a late season of snap peas, and they were growing fantastically, but everything has frozen over. I find with snap peas or any of the peas, they're a little bit harder for me to just pull right out, so I just grab my snippers here, and we'll just cut them off at the bottom, pull them out of the trellis. Let me reposition this camera so we can see the whole bed. These are Alpine radishes that I had already pulled out. These I started growing this year, and we made our own kimchi this year, which I thought was great. Everything from the garden, and it's fully fermented now. And actually tonight we're going to have Korean barbecue for dinner, and we're going to see, I apologize for the dogs barking, we're going to see how well my kimchi came out. The only thing I would say is that other uses for this Alpine radish, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to look up some recipes on the internet. I tried roasted. I didn't enjoy it that much. My wife liked it roasted. But in the kimchi, it is supposed to be the radish to go in the kimchi. So we will see. Put these in the garden hod. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish taking out these peas that didn't grow. Or they did grow and they froze. And I just leave the roots right in the soil, let them decompose, trying to minimize the soil, minimize disturbance to the soil as much as possible. I'm going to take out a leek for dinner tonight. We'll see how much they were hurt from the frost. All right, that looks okay to me. We're going to see. We're going to I'll slice these up and I'll roast them with some of the rutabaga. We'll see how they came out. I'll leave the rest in here for now. Put these in let me snip away some of the end. You can use the ends in soup stocks and whatnot. I'm not going to, so I'm just going to cut the ends off this one, so it's easier to carry around, and then the rest of these will go in my garden hod. In the garden hod, and then the rest of this in the cart for the compost bin. Oh, the pea there. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to go ahead and put some of my green material, my nitrogen, into the compost bin. This bed I let overgrow. Looks like we have a visitor. Hi. I thought that we were going to have that talk with Mom about putting dresses on us. You didn't have the talk? Yeah, I didn't dare to either. What? I want to say hello to everybody. Again, I'm going to try not to disturb this too much. I'm going to cut these right from the bottom here. And we've got a lot of that. We'll let the rest of these roots just stay right in this no-dig bed and decompose on their own. Again, we still have so much spinach that I just left it. But this won't go to waste. This will go to help me continue to make more compost, which is what I feed these beds with every year. so nothing wasted in the garden. Excuse my puppy. Under here we've got some more of the Alpine Radish. These are just shaped great, and the color on them is excellent as well. I can't wait to try that kimchi. Pull the rest of these two off of here. Just look great. And the last thing in this bed, we have some bok choy. Again, I have more bok choy ready to be replanted. And I have some in the bed over there that will tide us over until my spring bok choy is ready. It's going to get too hot here around the end of May to continue to grow any more bok choy, and then we start again in September with the fall garden. So 3 or 4 months with no bok choy, no spinach, but the rest of the months we're able to grow it here in Zone 9B. And again, trying to disturb the soil as little as possible. Oh, that one just came right out. Wow, it comes out really easy. And there it is. This will all go in the compost bin. We've got one more bed over here with more rutabaga, much bigger rutabaga. Hi, Jolie. So let's go ahead and finish this last bed. Our last bed, and these rutabagas did much better. And again, I'm just going to try to twist them out without disturbing the soil too much. See those? This came out much better. Much bigger vegetables. We'll break that off. Put it in the garden hod. Moving to this other side. In the garden hod, ready for the compost bin. Just trying to clean up the rest of this bed, get all the debris out of it. You leave that debris in there and it's home for for slugs, so clean it up as best I can for now. Hi, Jolie. One of the benefits of having your water here out in your garden is rinse off some of your vegetables here. I typically rinse these off, and then I'll have to do some cutting and some away the roots and whatnot inside, but we'll get most of the dirt off of these. Ideally, I'd have a little work table out here, and actually my compost bin is in the wrong location, so we're going to be moving this back garden bed this year and moving the compost bin out here, and then putting a little work table out here with some water, so I've got a place to work where I can stand up. That one's going in the compost bin. So today's harvest was Alpine Radishes, some rutabaga, and a couple of fairly decent sized rutabaga. I think I could have gotten these a lot bigger had we not. Actually, I don't think the freeze would have affected them at all. I could have just left them in there to grow, but the leaves on top are looking pretty harsh. Next year, if it happens again with the big freeze, we'll try to let them grow a little longer. I think the biggest thing that hurt the rutabaga this year was actually pests when I first started growing them. And again, live and learn. Next year, we'll put some wire cages around them, so whatever pest it was that was getting in here over this back fence, or however he or she was getting in here, won't be able to get to my rutabaga or my kohlrabi. I'm still upset about that. And got a leek here that we will go ahead and roast up for dinner tonight. That's the end of the garden tour. Next step for my garden is we're going to be cleaning up these beds a little bit. I have a lot of compost from my own compost bin, and we'll be putting 1 to 2 inches on all of these beds. I have lots of starts of, wow, every bed is planned out, but we have tomatoes, peppers, hopefully tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, squash, zucchini, bok choy, spinach, cantaloupe. There's so much that we're growing this year, so stay tuned please for the next garden tour. We're going to prepare the beds in the next tour. We're going to be transplanting the starts into these beds in the next tour. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.